Crazy is the fact that everyone's finally waking up to the fact that the giants built the pyramids. There's no way that humans, mortals, built the pyramids. Guys, think about it. Egypt itself, besides these cities that they're finding under the pyramids, that's a recent archaeological finding, that there's evidence of vast cities under the pyramids of Giza. Like, let's really clock that tea. Speaking of which, pyramids are quite literally magical. Did you know that the pyramids in Egypt are directly aligned with Orion's star system? And we know that the fallen angels brought down heavenly knowledge in that time. We're telling these people like all types of crazy things when it comes to the heavens, all these secrets. Time travels 3 times as fast in a pyramid. There are literally voids where you can't get into it, and it's like you can almost like step out of time. There's something called ultram at the top of pyramids. It's a mix of gold and silver, and we still to this day, humans cannot mix gold and silver without like it's spontaneously combusting, from what I heard. Each block is like a ton. There's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way. And also, scientists have literally found that the sculpting around the Sphinx, it's proof of the flood, because it's rounded in a way that only a large body of water could make it so. Like, the Bible is proven in every aspect. On the side of the Sphinx, it's something called Zep Tepi. That is an Egyptian saying back then that is found in hieroglyphics as well, which means, I don't know why my phone's like tripping, sorry y'all, which means I have been here for the first time. And when that was written, it was the golden age of, or the golden dynasty of Egypt. And during that golden age is when it says that humans mingled and walked with the gods. And if you know anything about anything when it comes to the Book of Enoch and heavenly history, the Egyptian gods are literally fallen angels and Nephilim, because they're half animal, half creature, and that those creatures came from fallen angels practicing miscegenation, which is the mixing of DNA when they were here on earth trying to recreate God's creation. You know, the enemy, he can imitate, but he cannot replicate. Like, the proof is literally in the pudding. And when everyone became aware of the fact that there were cities under the pyramids, people started to think like, wait a minute, maybe this is deeper than we could possibly ever imagine. There are literally giants in Egyptian hieroglyphics. Like, it's written all over history. There are giants everywhere. Native American folklore, Egyptian folklore, Greek mythology, and not to mention Greek mythology is proof of the flood as well. If y'all want a video on that, we can really dive into it, but it's crazy. What if I were to tell you that the plagues that God sent to Egypt when Moses was trying to free the people and Pharaoh said no, directly line up with the Egyptian gods? So God was basically, you know, puffing out his chest to these fallen angels, because he is the I am. Like, he is that guy. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna stop yapping, but yeah, like and follow, let me know. Oh yeah, TikTok, this is for educational purposes only. Please don't take my video down. Rabbit hole of the night, y'all. This is gonna be spooky and crazy, so buckle up. We're gonna be going down the siren / mermaid rabbit hole. I don't know if y'all remember in the early 2000s when they made that documentary when those scientists went to the bottom of this like really deep trench in the ocean, and they saw this like fish-like creature with webbed fingers that hit their submarine. That is engraved in my mind. Like, it's a core memory for me, because that is where I started to become interested in the ocean and what is really out there, because only 5%, I believe, is discovered. Although I think that they know way more than they're letting on. The ocean is like more confusing and crazy than anything I've ever seen on land. So I always believed that sirens existed, right? But I always had the question, where do they come from? Where did they originate? In comes the Book of Enoch. Now, what if I were to tell y'all that the Book of Enoch says that the sirens are really the mothers of demons? I gotta backtrack all the way up into heavenly history. This is before the flood of Noah, when the angels came down and procreated with the daughters of man, creating Nephilim, aka the giant. When the flood happened, the fallen angels were dealt with, okay? The Nephilim, they drowned in the flood, and their spirits became disembodied spirits forced to linger the earth, because they couldn't go to heaven, they couldn't go to hell at that moment, because they're like half heavenly creature and half mortal. So they're the disembodied spirits, and those disembodied spirits are also demons. And the women, this is the crazy part, because the canon Bible talks about the fallen angels and talks about the Nephilim, but doesn't talk about the women. The Book of Enoch, which I read as history or lore, not scripture, the Book of Enoch tells us that the women that procreated with the angels were cursed to the sea to become sirens. Crazy! crazy. I was like, that's where they come from. That's it. So what if I were to tell you that we know the name of the first siren ever? In comes the Book of Jasher. And did you know that the Book of Jasher, which is another apocryphal text, is actually mentioned in the canon Bible? Like, it literally says, I think it's in 1 Timothy, where it says, as stated in the Book of Jasher. So clearly it was part of the Bible at some point and was taken out. I wonder why. So y'all, in the Book of Jasher, there is a woman named Naamah. Now, Naamah comes from the line of Cain. Y'all know that Cain killed his brother Abel. He was the very first murderer. And through the generations, the descendants of Cain become more and more and more evil. They twist things like music, forging metals, like all of these, basically the fallen angel knowledge, they use that to become even more sinister. And Naamah was a descendant of Cain. Naamah, her name quite literally means pleasant or beautiful. And it hints in Jewish apocalyptic texts and traditions that Naamah was Naamah was actually the first woman that was so strikingly beautiful that she caught the eye of the fallen angels, y'all. And then she procreated with them. So was she the first siren? The very first mother of demons? This is crazy, y'all. It's very spooky. And the moment that you understand this, the moment that, like, you think about it, sirens are literally in all aspects of lore. Like, they come up in Caribbean lore, African lore. I'm Haitian, so trust me, I know ball. They come up in Dominican lore, they come up in Russian lore, Kalupalites in the Inuit culture, Hawaiian, everything, every area, every sector of mythology, you're gonna see sirens rear their ugly heads, or should I say beautiful heads. I mean, look at that Mexican actor, I think Cantinflas, he was obsessed with mermaids. He even made a huge building to be able to find a mermaid wife. Like, it's insane. And then not to mention, y'all remember when there was this rumor going around that the elites actually eat mermaids? Like, they find them and eat them. And then there's that guy named Sauce 90 that goes around, guys, oh, don't get me into that one. He goes around at night, like, he's a fisherman, and he records strange, creepy things that happen in the ocean. And even one time, I promise you, that was a siren talking to him. It's crazy. Look him up, Sauce 90. Interestingly enough, he had some run-ins with the Gov, and they tried to take his boat. They tried to take his voice. Y'all, this right here is gonna need a part 2, like, for sure. As always, make sure you like and follow, and let me know in the comments if you're interested in hearing more. Oh yeah, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. None of it's true. You must really hate me at this point because you keep sending me down rabbit holes all by myself, so I'm gonna take you with me. This is the time travel rabbit hole. Y'all, this is one thing that it was really tough for me to think that this could actually be a thing, but after seeing that shed video, and I know I'm a year late, but there was a video about this man who had an Airbnb, and there was a shed in the back, and there was a man, let me pull up the pictures. There was a man that went into his shed looking like this, young, right? Well, at least in his 30s. And he comes out on a different day. Mind you, he has footage of the shed, and no man came out until I believe it was the next day. And he was the same guy except older. Make it make sense. Seeing things like this really boggles my mind and makes me think, is it really possible to time travel? Because that shed thing really got me spooked. There's a reason why there was like 15 million views on that video, because nobody could actually explain it. And he had actual receipts and proof of nobody leaving that shed besides that man going in young and coming back out old. And if that doesn't convince you, the whole Baron Trump's Marvelous Adventure thing is crazy in and of itself. I'm gonna give you a quick Reader's Digest. There was a man named Nikola Tesla in the early 1900s, right? He studied all things time travel. During that same point in time, and Nikola Tesla lived, there was also a man named Ingersoll Lockwood. Now, Ingersoll is the one who made the book Baron Trump's Marvelous Adventures. Mind you, he wrote this book in 1888. Baron Trump's Marvelous Adventures. In the book, Baron Trump has a mentor named Dawn. Dawn has a mentor named Pence. In the book, they're studying time travel. They travel to Russia to go into like this hollow earth type hole where you come out at another point in time, and they're basically doing time travel. Fast forward into the third book, The Last President, Dawn ends up becoming the president, and the people revolt because he's more of a businessman than a politician. That sounds eerily familiar. I believe in the book there's a point in time where they go into this big tower that has to do with time travel, and it's on 5th Avenue in New York. And Trump Tower is, I believe, on 5th Avenue in New York. It's so many crazy things. But if you're not going to listen to anything in the book, Hear this. Once Nikola Tesla unalived, right? All of his findings with time travel was given to Donald Trump's uncle John Trump, who was an MIT professor. Later on down the line, I think it was Nikola Tesla's son or nephew, someone related to him requested all of his documents and all of his studies and findings so that they could put it in a museum. But there were 60 crates that went to John Trump. Only 40 crates went back with the relative of Nikola Tesla. And some people say that is where it all started. Enter in Project Looking Glass. And to top it all off, has anyone actually asked how in the world the writers of The Simpsons know what's going to happen in the future? Like, let's talk about that. Time travel is something that I cannot wrap my head around, but I also cannot refute it. Like, y'all, what do you think? As always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what other rabbit hole you guys are going to send me down next. Oh yeah, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. None of it's true.